The lightsaber, the weapon of the want-to-be Jedi Knight. Not as clumsy or random as a blaster. An inelegant piece of plastic crap for a less civilized movie premiere. Yeah. Hi everybody, this is Nathan P. Butler of the EU Review bringing you a brand new visual showcase review. This, which is not the subject of our review, is a Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber toy produced in 1999 in the lead up to The Phantom Menace. And this is what I and many friends of mine decided to purchase and take with us to the premiere of The Phantom Menace in May of 1999. However, we wound up not being allowed to take them inside, probably because of the noise factor here. And really that is noise, because it sure doesn't really sound like an igniting or a shutting down lightsaber in any real sense. But we were not allowed to bring these in there because of probably the noise factor, which interestingly enough created a lot of spontaneous discussion about Shmi Skywalker for a little while. At least I think it was about Skywalker. The word mother factored into it a lot, but I digress. This lightsaber's sounds really don't seem to ring true to us. Let's hear them again. That's turning on. There's your zzz. And that's turning off. I don't remember lightsabers exploding when they shut down. Why do these sounds not ring true to us? It's not because it's a bad product. Okay, it's partly because it's a bad product. But it's not totally because it's a bad product here. It's because Star Wars sounds are iconic. Ben Burtt did an amazing job creating this universe of sounds, created in many cases from common household things, that wound up creating this rich environment that we think of as Star Wars. When we think of lightsabers igniting, we know what sound it makes. We know what sound it makes when we shut it off or swing it around, as the case may be. This really isn't it. What we want to do this time is focus a bit on Star Wars sounds and some of the ways they've been presented to us. In specific, we're going to be looking at a review of the new book by Jonathan Rinzler with Ben Burtt entitled, unsurprisingly, The Sounds of Star Wars. Now, if I may digress for just a moment into sort of a personal anecdote, I myself have produced quite a few Star Wars fan audio dramas over the years. Solitude, Ambush on Ankara, the Anthology series, and so forth. The first one I ever put out was Star Wars Second Strike, in conjunction with Christopher Hannell, who mixed the first act. Together we put out what, as far as we know, was the first serious Star Wars fan audio drama released online ever. Again, Second Strike, released on December 25th, 2002, at least in terms of its first act. That actually wasn't the first time I started playing around with these Star Wars sounds that have been such a big part of growing up for me. For me, my first attempt to create a Star Wars audio drama was actually with the little deck-to-deck boombox, I guess is what we call it today, where you had one tape deck that could play, one tape deck that could play or record, and you could either use a microphone and record into the one that records, or you could use one deck playing, one deck recording, and transfer it from one to the other. But when I got big into the Star Wars Expanded Universe, it was very early on in that new publication line. Right around 1991, 1992, I got very excited about, yes, Dark Empire. And I decided, well, there isn't a Dark Empire audio drama out there yet. That wouldn't come for a little while later. So instead, I'm going to produce my own adaptation of Dark Empire as an audio drama. So what did I do? I sat myself down in front of this boombox and I read through Dark Empire, issue by issue, doing all the voices for myself. All of them. Even the girls. No, you don't want to hear it. Though honestly, I wish I could find the old tapes. I'm assuming they've been destroyed or recorded over many times over the years. However, you may wonder, okay, how does someone, especially a kid, just sitting there way before being heavy into digital technology, produce some kind of fanned audio drama? Whether it's good or not, how do you make that happen? Because you need, what? Iconic sound effects. For me, and I kid you not, my source of the iconic Star Wars music and sound effects was a Super Nintendo game. This is Super Star Wars, the first game in the Super Star Wars trilogy for the Super Nintendo. What many people who played this over the years found, whether they're looking at Nintendo Power or elsewhere, is that this game had what's called a debug code, which lets you go in and choose what level you start on, choose what weapon you wanted to use, play as different characters than you really should on individual levels, and in that debug mode, you have essentially a sound test area. You have the ability to play any of the music from the game, which is all taken as digital versions of the music we find in A New Hope, and you could use any sound effect you wanted. Just play a quick sample of them. So what did I do? Well, it's very simple. I would read a little bit out of Dark Empire and say it's time where we need a lightsaber clash. It'd be read, wait, lightsaber clash is coming, hit pause, click. Then take the boombox, sit it by the TV, have this queued up, go on the debug menu, unpause, saber sound, pause, and back to reading. It was really lame, folks. But I think it just again goes to show the audio appeal that Star Wars has, particularly because its sound effects are so recognizable and so well done. Finally, after many years, over 33 since the release of Star Wars A New Hope in theaters, we finally have a chance to look behind the scenes of the sounds of the Star Wars saga and see where they came from, how they were derived, and do so in a very interactive way. This is all through a new book by Jonathan Rinzler and Ben Burtt entitled The Sounds of Star Wars. The first thing you'll notice when you pick up a copy of The Sounds of Star Wars, and I mean literally pick up a copy, is that this book is really heavy. I thought The Sounds of Star Wars would be a relatively thin book with a little music player, a little sound player off to the side because, hey, I've seen kids' books that do that before. How big could it actually be? Instead, what we get is a massive tome here of background information about the sounds of the galaxy far away. The Sounds of Star Wars is a very thick book here, almost on par with Star Wars Year by Year. What we get is this giant book with a foreword by Ben Burtt that takes us through, divided by films in various sections, the sounds of The Empire Strikes Back, the sounds of A New Hope before that, the sounds of Return of the Jedi, the sounds of all three prequels, and a few sounds from the Clone Wars leading up to Season 2 of the Clone Wars.